Batman Beyond is a rare example of executives actually having a halfway decent idea. They wanted a cartoon about Batman in high school because they wanted a Batman for kids to relate to, and through some miracle it wasn't total crap. This could have been absolute garbage, but lucky for us, the idea got into the right hands. Specifically Bruce Timm, Paul Dini and Alan Burnett, the guys behind the wildly successful Batman animated series and the whole DC animated universe of Superman, Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, which is still the best representation of these characters to this day. Rather than make a teenage Bruce Wayne juggle high school and vigilantism, they went for a different approach, setting the story years in the future and creating an all-new Dark Knight, Terry McGinis. Bruce Wayne abandoned his crusade for justice when his age caught up to him and he had to use a gun to defend himself. 20 years pass and Gotham without a Batman has only grown worse. Bruce meets Terry McGinis, an angry but good-hearted young man who discovers Bruce's secret, and when Terry's father gets murdered, he steals Bruce's suit to bring the killer to justice. With Gotham in need of a hero, Bruce becomes the mentor to a new Batman, and the two take up Bruce's mission once again. With the classic Batman as mission control, McGinis lives as a regular teenage boy by day and fights future crime in Neo Gotham by night, battling a new generation of supercrime such as Shriek, Ink, Spellbinder, Blight, and many more, sometimes even coming into conflict with foes of his mentor like Mr. Freeze, Bane, and the Joker. But now, the Batman of the future and the Batman of the past are sworn to protect all citizens of Neo Gotham, including the villains. When someone targets the enemies of the original Batman, the Dark Knights must delve deep into Bruce Wayne's past if they want to save the future, in Hush Beyond. At a secret government Cadmus lab, there's been a breakout, and Amanda Waller isn't happy about it. Someone or something has escaped, but not before attempting to murder another prisoner and actually murdering 5 guards. Despite being drugged up and barely conscious, the dangerous escapee fought his way free and is now loose on the streets of Neo Gotham. This sounds like a job for the Batman. Batman's already embroiled in a caper concerning Spellbinder, the master hypnotist, but with Bruce Wayne in his ear, there's no illusion as to who's winning this fight. And there's no rest for Batman tonight as crime never sleeps, but he does find time to get visited by an old friend. This is Micron, a fellow superhero and a member of the Justice League Beyond, consisting of Micron, Aquagirl, Big Barda, Warhawk, Green Lantern and Superman. For this fella, think the Atom. Super shrinking science is his thing. Previously, Batman helped the League out on a case, but he's turned down a permanent membership. Micron wants Batman to reconsider, but Batman's priority is always Gotham. Meanwhile, the Cadmus escapee murders an old man, setting up a game for the Detective of Tomorrow. But the Dark Knight of yesterday isn't just sitting around either. Bruce is tinkering away at new gadgets as Terry returns to the Batcave. And just as Terry's about to finally turn in for the night, the murder report on the old man comes through, and it's a name Bruce recognises. Philip Cobb was once one of Batman's rogues, a villain known as the Signal Man. After getting a bat beat down, Cobb served his time and rejoined society, but now he's the victim. And this wasn't an ordinary murder. The way Cobb was killed was very specific. Twice in the heart, twice in the throat, 2 different knives. The repeating number 2 gives Bruce flashbacks to Harvey Dent, but he vanished ages ago. Another face from Bruce Wayne's past does appear when there's sirens at St. James's Psych Ward, where many Arkham inmates ended up when the asylum closed years ago. Jervis Tetch, the Mad Hatter, is in there, and there's an intruder. If it is Two-Face, we know he's not going to stop at one murder, so Batman breaks in. But other than being out of his mind and old as hell, Hatter seems fine. A scream drags Batman away, where he finds the killer about to make a second victim. The killer's scared off at the sight of the Dark Knight, but not before leaving behind two clues: dirty bandages and his criminal alias, Hush. The Batmen have a long night ahead. Bruce tells Terry the original Hush, his childhood friend Thomas Elliot. Bruce had thought him a friend, but Tommy hated Bruce because Bruce's father had saved Tommy's mother's life after an accident Tommy himself had caused to inherit their fortune. Despite becoming a world-renowned surgeon, Tommy always held his grudge, which only intensified when he discovered Bruce's double life. After years of fighting, Hush met his end when he tried to escape Batman through the wrong apartment and the resident blew him away. But between his injuries and the incoming police, Bruce could never be absolutely sure. And with a villain as crazy prepared as Hush, we can never be sure. The Bat computer analyses the bandages and Terry gets back out there before Hush can strike again. But Hush already has. Another ex-villain has been slain alongside his family. Armory, a villain that never actually fought the original Batman but did battle the new one single time. But that still qualifies him for Hush's hit list. This family was killed by antique, razor-sharp umbrellas. But could the Penguin also be back in business? Or is that just what Hush wants Batman to think? While on the hunt, Batman stumbles across a crime in progress, but the perpetrator's no ordinary criminal. Someone in Neo Gotham has taken up a famous old name. Batman prepares to fight Catwoman Beyond. In a tale as old as time, Batman chases Catwoman across the rooftops of Gotham. Catwoman isn't into it though and she just wants to escape, but despite his banter, Terry does have something important to tell her. With the Hush killer out there with a bloodlust for Bat baddies, now is not a time to be seen fighting Batman. Terry wants to bring her in for her own protection more than anything else, but the mysterious meowing marauder escapes. The Batmen have bigger problems than a tech thief. Bruce divulges he's kept tabs on all of his and Terry's villains and their whereabouts, and the new Batman rockets off to start crossing out names before Hush can cross out their lives. Terry's first stop finds another past his prime Bat foe itching to make a comeback. The Calendar Man prepares a special gift for Commissioner Barbara Gordon until Batman catches him in the act. Then Hush hits the scene and he hits hard. Batman's taken by surprise, overpowered, and Hush prepares to shut Batman up permanently. Hush is kicking Terry's ass. He knows that the original Batman was Bruce Wayne, and he seems to have intimate knowledge of Bruce himself, claiming he'd never let someone else be Batman. So Terry must be a pretender to the cowl, and he's gonna kill him for it. But not yet. Hush wins the fight and time runs out for the Calendar Man. The failure to save Calendar Man causes tension between the Batmen, with Bruce's demands of perfection causing a rift. He doesn't think Terry can handle the job, and Terry's angry at this accusation. The shady government figures behind Cadmus, the secret lab Hush escaped from in the first place, know what's going on, but refuse to own up. The head of the project, Dr. Reed, wants to go to the police, but Waller denies everything, promising that all the evidence points to Reed and Reed alone. Their hands are tied. Batman's gonna have to solve this problem alone. Some people think that Batman causes more problems than he solves, and that is actually true for Terry McGinis. His civilian life's been getting neglected in favour of the cowl, and his girlfriend Dana isn't happy about it. She makes Terry wonder if working for Bruce is all he'll ever do, so he returns to the Batcave to find his own answers. But he doesn't like the answers that he finds. Bruce has built a small army of bat robots that don't have the limitations of man. They're to be Terry's backup, but the very idea of even needing reinforcements angers Terry even more. With the relationship stressed even further, Terry declares he's going to capture Hush alone, then the hell with the Batman. Now that Terry's got something to prove, he begins an independent investigation, starting with a visit to Tim Drake. Tim used to be Robin, the Batman's sidekick, until his mind and body got hijacked by the clown prince of crime. Drake's been monitored since Batman restored him to sanity, but we can't truly rule him out. He does point us to another potential suspect, one as knowledgeable of Batman's history as Bruce Wayne himself. On the way to his next suspect, Batman once again crosses the new Catwoman's path. He tries to warn her again, but she refuses to listen. That's going to have to be a problem for later as Batman meets his next person of interest, Dick Grayson, the original Robin. But it wasn't coincidence that Batman stumbled across Catwoman again. The felonious feline planted a tracker on Terry at the request of Hush, and now he has no further use for it. Hush's next kill is interrupted by a familiar figure. Has the Dark Knight returned? Yes and no. It is Bruce, but he's piloting one of the Bat-Wraith robots. But sadly, he hasn't yet worked out all the kinks. But he's done enough. Now Catwoman can show her claws. And she has many. 9 Catwomen rush Hush. Amanda Waller doesn't seem to have the presence that she once had. Her threats seem to have fallen on deaf ears as Dr. Reed defies orders and tries to tell the police the truth. Meanwhile, Batman continues his investigation, questioning Dick on his whereabouts during the murders. He cooperates, but this is a life that the ex-hero left behind long ago. Batbot and Catwoman are no match for Hush's raw skill. The killer takes down the Wraith easily, stealing a part of the robot and escaping, but he did fail in killing Catwoman, planting the seeds of revenge in the new villainess. After all these years, we finally get an explanation on what caused the Bat family to fall out for good. A mistake by Bruce almost killed Nightwing, and Batman's growing bitterness towards life after all he'd lost wouldn't let him apologise. Dick leaves Terry with evidence exonerating him, and the warning. Bruce only cares about one thing, his mission, and anyone caught up in it ends up hurt or worse. The next night, another villain of the new Batman, the Mad Bomber Mad Stan, appears out in the open. Or does he? It was bait in a trap that Hush saw through immediately, but still, hero and villain are face to face once again. Batman and Hush throw down again, and despite Terry's experience, Hush seems to have the upper hand. The villain screams about how he's going to save Gotham himself as he plunges a knife deep into Batman's belly. With Batman defeated, Hush tears off his bandages and reveals himself as Dick Grayson, declaring that now it's his time to save the city. Dr. Reed's attempts to contact Commissioner Barbara Gordon are foiled as Cadmus security find her long before the police can. Hush has Batman beaten. He could finish this right now, but Grayson wants Terry to live to see him accomplish what both Terry and Bruce never could. The salvation of Gotham City, but Batman is bleeding badly. It's only through Catwoman's aid that Terry survives the night. Working with Bruce, she manages to patch Terry up enough to stop the bleeding. If he's lucky, he'll make it back to the Batcave for proper treatment. We also learn that Catwoman Beyond is the daughter of the supervillain Multiplex, a foe of Firestorm. Halfway through talking Catwoman through the first aid, the Bat-Wraiths suddenly jump Bruce. Hush has taken control, and the Batbots escape the cave, called to Hush's side. And Dr. Reed is rescued from Cadmus security by a frighteningly familiar face. Dick Grayson? But Dick was Hush, wasn't he? The case is cracked wide open when Dr. Reed finally makes it to Commissioner Gordon. Reed, who's actually the granddaughter of the original Hush, was part of a Cadmus experiment to ensure that Gotham would always have a Batman. But Amanda Waller wanted a Batman of her own. Bruce Wayne, even a genetically modified clone of him, like what Waller wanted, would never take orders from the likes of her. So she instead went with the next best thing. Her operatives stole Nightwing's DNA while he was hospitalised. Cadmus created a clone of Dick Grayson to be groomed into becoming their own Caped Crusader, until it went crazy and escaped. Terry limps back to the Batcave, and as Bruce works to save his protege's life, he monologues an apology that Terry accepts. The heartfelt conversation is interrupted as Hush makes contact through the Batcomputer's wavelengths. He's ready to finish this fight, and he's gonna destroy Gotham to do it. Hush is going to use the explosives within the Batbots to crumble Gotham City to dust, unless the Batman can stop him. But Batman can't do this alone. He needs a Robin. The original Boy Wonder returns to face his crazed clone, and for the first time in decades, the dynamic duo ride again. But they'll need more backup to save Gotham this time, recruiting the Catwoman too. But will even these 3 Dark Knights be enough to save the city? Dick makes the first move after realising that Hush doesn't know that he's a clone. The sudden sight of himself, aged and battered, shocks Hush to his core. So Hush summons his Bat-Wraiths to kill the original, but he's not the only one with backup. Hush is good, but the true threat are the Bat-Wraiths. The robot squadron fend off the hero's every move, until Bruce finally manages to crack Hush's encryption, jamming the signal and stopping the cyber capes for good. With the Robobats neutralised, Hush's plan is silenced, but there's still a chance as one Wraith survives. It's got the detonator and it's making a beeline to Hush. Batman and Hush scrap one final time, ending with Hush impaled on the robot's steel cowl. The Bat-Wraith detonates, with the explosion only destroying the mad villain, not taking Neo Gotham with them. With the day saved, Bruce does attempt to reconcile with Dick, but the damage was done long ago. Nightwing retires once again. With Gotham safe for another night, the 2 Batmen resolve to continue their fight against evil, while maybe giving each other a bit of a break now and then. But not everyone's learned a lesson. Amanda Waller recruits a new scientist to head Project Batman. A project that, despite Hush's actions, she has no intention of abandoning. So that was the first installment of the comic book continuation of Batman Beyond, and honestly, it wasn't as good as the cartoon. There's some continuity issues brought up, like Batman Beyond continues from the animated series, and the animated series Batman never actually had a Hush in the first place, so it's not really a true sequel to the show, more of an alternate reality. I mean, it certainly felt like it was written as a sequel to Return of the Joker, but it dips into some very iffy territory that I don't think suits Batman very much, even a futuristic Batman. All this cloning so Gotham's always got a Batman stuff began in Justice League Unlimited, the episode Epilogue, where it's revealed Terry wasn't some random punk kid, he was actually genetically Bruce's son, which kinda ruined it for me if I'm honest. But clearly the seeds were sown because they've ran with it in this one. I just don't see clones as a very Batman thing. Terry's at his best when the bad guy's some high-tech troublemaker. It's like Batman fighting an alien, it just feels off. I wasn't a fan of the bad guy turning up and apparently killing all of Terry's cool baddies. Hush claims he's killed off screen the likes of Mad Stan, Shriek and Stalker. And even though I'm pretty sure they do return in later issues, it's such a waste of cool villains. If a baddie just turns up and starts slaughtering all the boss baddies left and right, you're gonna have none left. I did, however, enjoy the addition of Catwoman Beyond. I like villain legacies, and giving her actual superpowers makes her distinct enough from Selina Kyle that she isn't redundant. I'm glad we got an answer to what happened with Dick Grayson, because the show never answers that. Well, we do see what happens to Batgirl and Robin, with Batgirl becoming Commissioner Gordon, and Robin obviously getting his mind taken over by the Joker. So, the future of Neo Gotham is safe for now, but who knows what threats Terry will have to face next? Find out next time, same bat time, same bat channel. Hey, before I go, who's your favourite Batman Beyond villain? Mine's probably Shriek. His design's dead cool, and his first episode where he messes with the volume to confuse Batman was pretty creative.